SJWs always lie. It's like one thing you can count on is that they're going to go out there, they're going to just lie straight to your face, they're going to double down, and then they're going to project all of their little weird insecurities on you. That's exactly what's been done with this entire Ubisoft Assassin's Creed Yasuke situation. They've pretended this black guy is a samurai for a long, long time. He wasn't. Everybody knows he wasn't. Japanese historians have come out and condemned this entire game, saying it's a bastardization of their history, and yet a bunch of woke white guys are out here trying to just gaslight you and say, you better play this game anyway, you bigot. You better like it, or you're a racist. It doesn't make any sense, does it? But nothing they ever does make sense. And the one thing that can be counted on is these people will just act like this every single time. Let's get into Thomas Lockley's BS in just a moment. My name's John Delarose, everybody. Please hit the like and subscribe button. I am reporting this news to you, the pop culture stuff that matters, and I appreciate y'all for being here. It's been a wonderful couple months. I have my own graphic novel out, The Hidden Emperor, which is a science fiction graphic novel. A lot of fun, action-adventure. I would love for you to check this out and read our work. We do this not just to report on things and complain about the culture, but we're making our own alternative culture as well, and I hope you'll check this out. This is in the description below. Beautiful art. We've already got $20,000 raised on this. Amazing, amazing support so far. Our best campaign yet, and thank you guys for, of course, backing our graphic novel. All right. So Thomas Lockley, the author of African Samurai, The True Story of Yasuke. Yes, stunning and brave, isn't he? Legendary black warrior in feudal Japan. Lied about collaborating with Ubisoft in Assassin's Creed Shadows amid the ongoing controversies surrounding the character of Yasuke. In an interview on the Lance E. Lee podcast from Tokyo on YouTube, Lockley stated, "I don't know whether the game Assassin's Creed should have him as the main character or should have somebody else as the main character. Frankly, I don't care." I'm sure he doesn't care. He's probably one of the real architects of this happening. We don't know for sure, of course, but that's going to be my thought on this. Because as much as these people go on podcasts and do this kind of thing, it's obvious that they care a great deal. When they say they don't care, that's all they're thinking about. Lee then asked them, "But you had nothing to do with it anyway?" Lockley then replies, "Nothing to do with it." Lee then asks, "No royalties or anything?" And he says, No, nothing to do, though my book is starting to sell well again, which is nice. That's nice. Then he added, "Don't attack Yasuke as a man. Remember this man for who he was and the great things that he did." Now, this is kind of weird because I've never seen anybody really attacking Yasuke as a man or anything like that, except for maybe Ubisoft, who's bastardizing his legacy here as somebody, making him into somebody he wasn't, and then implying that there's going to be some weird LGBTQ romances with Yasuke as well. I mean, we don't know exactly who gets the romances in the game, but they said that it's going to be there. And they also said that historical characters are going to be involved in it. So it kind of puts two and two together. It looks like it's going to be a gay black samurai, which didn't exist in history. Absolutely crazy. We just got to hope he's not gay with his Lord Nobunaga, because that would be a real crazy travesty. If that starts to come out, oh my gosh, Japan's going to go insane. So on his Facebook account, he doubled down, because this is what they do. "Thank you for your support over the years. Due to the hate mail connected with the Assassin's Creed game, which I have nothing to do and have no intention of playing, but many people seem to think I am responsible for, I will be freezing this account. I hope not forever, but who knows." So as usual, the SJW goes out, and what do? They play victim. After they spin a narrative that's a complete lie, it gets caught. The problem to them is that it got caught, and then they go on lockdown mode. Their tweets go protected. They're locked down their accounts. They're scared because of mail. I mean, Thomas, come on, man. Do you know the amount of hate email I get on a weekly basis? I just go out and keep doing what I'm doing, and I say screw you, because I'm not afraid of what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is the truth. The reason you lock down, the reason you guys do this on your little woke agenda DEI crap every single time is that you're lying. And you know you're lying. You know what you're doing is bad. And so you can't take it, and you can't stand up for it. And so instead of admit that you just did something wrong, you go out here and make all these further lies and compound things. And this is exactly what's happening here. So as much as he is saying that he didn't do this, here we are. Lockley did indeed collaborate with Ubisoft on an episode of their Echoes of History podcast titled Yasuke, the First African Samurai Podcast. Literally, Ubisoft had a podcast about this. Literally, they used him as an authority to try to lie to gamers, to try to lie to Japanese people, to say that Yasuke, in fact, was a samurai. And this guy's work has been debunked. It's been shown that he's a fraud. And he was out there doing this. The episode says Yasuke is one of the most captivating yet mysterious figures in Japanese history. In 1581, at the height of the Civil War, he crossed paths with the country's most powerful warlord, Oda Nobunaga. Their meeting bound the two men together. Uh-oh. That's not good phrasing from Ubisoft, given the contents of the game that we know. And set Yasuke on a path to becoming the first known samurai of African descent in Japan. Oh, yes. Delving into the history behind the two main characters in the latest Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Matt Lewis and, oh, there he is, Thomas Lockley, examine the few surviving historical sources to reveal what we know about Yasuke, Japan's first African samurai. The description concludes, making it clear it's produced by Ubisoft. Echoes of History is a Ubisoft podcast brought to you by History Hit. Okay, cool. History behind the character. So they literally are using his work as justification for what they're doing in their video game. They have advertised this video game as historical fiction, and they've told people they're going to learn a lot about feudal Japan that they might not have known. They tried to make this something that they looked like a Japanese history game that you could go through and really expand upon your knowledge of this stuff. And they're using fake sources in order to do this, like Thomas Lockley, some woke white guy who's pretending things existed that really didn't exist. Japan got really mad about this, as we know. We've covered this at length. Japanese gamers are organizing a boycott of the game. There's a petition going on. How are we doing on the petition today? Let's take a look, my friends. Over 100,000 signatures. I knew this was going to happen. This is crazy that there's 100,000 Japanese people that are calling for the canceling of this game because it's such a bastardization of Japanese culture. They're saying that this needs to go away, that it needs to stop, and they are very, very upset about this. Now, not only have they caused problems with Yasuke, and then, of course, they have their female ninja who's going to be an LGBTQ icon in Ubisoft. Another thing that's a ridiculous thing for a historical deal. They've also put background images that came from ancient China. It's been silly. They've used in their expos these swords that they were trying to present as Japanese authentic swords, which were actually were designs from One Piece. It's ridiculous how lazy that Ubisoft has been, given this is a AAA game with all of its millions and millions of dollars poured into this. It's a totally fake thing that they've done. The podcast host introduces Matt Lewis in the episode saying, in case you haven't had a chance to see it yet, the world premiere trailer for Assassin's Creed Shadows was released, and you can see it take place in feudal Japan. This time, famous for its samurai and ninjas, an era rich in history, culture, and stories. For the next few episodes in the series, we'll be exploring this fascinating period in history. So far, we've traveled back in time to the Sengoku period, sowed the seeds for unification of Japan and culture, collider with the arrival of Portuguese missionaries on the Japanese shores. He continued, today we are tracing the story of key figure of this upheaval, Japan's first black samurai, Yasuke. As one of the two main characters in Assassin's Creed Shadows, you'll be able to see the world of feudal Japan through the eyes of a legendary African samurai. But how and when did Yasuke end up in Japan? What was his journey to becoming Japan's first black samurai? And what can his story tell us about the life of Sengoku Japan? To find out more about this notorious and yet mysterious figure from Japanese history, I'm joined by none other than the man himself, Thomas Lockley. There he is, and author of The African Samurai, The True Story of Yasuke. He collaborated with Ubisoft and had something to do with the game. Clearly, they absolutely based a lot of their, quote, historical research on the crap that he said. That's why they put it on a podcast and said all this stuff. All of this is really coming from his fake news and his fake account of Yasuke, which is poorly written, has some history that is just insulting to Japan, and that was the whole deal that was happening here. Wow. So this is exactly what they're doing. They're doubling down on this stuff. They always lie. They always project. They know that there's a major problem with what's happening here, and this is something that Ubisoft just was lazy. They just looked up a thing and saw Black Samurai, and they saw it was by this guy, and they're like, "Oh, cool, we'll make a game out of that. That sounds reasonable." And gosh, without them, with them just being so lazy in their research and trying to push this DEI agenda so hard, they're getting themselves into huge trouble, and they're bringing down everybody around with them, as you can see right here. Gosh, ridiculous stuff. So, moral of the story, just tell the truth, guys. I mean, gosh, it shouldn't be that hard, should it? Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out my book, The Hidden Emperor, on Kickstarter. You'll absolutely love this, guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. We'll be back soon.